Greetings. Yeah, tonight's broadcast. The thumbnail of this thing, I'm finally figuring out how to use it. It's not what tended to use, but that's good enough for right now, at least just for YouTube, as long as we're here. All right. For today is uh, Anunnaki and Israel. This should be interesting. Um, that came up in a webinar, but the energies, I connected to it during our webinar, but I didn't really go into that deep into it. Just, sort of just came back to, I got a visit from it, you can say, of some of your prominent figures and that are from Israel or Jewish or Anunnaki, obviously. In the banking system, money mostly. Let's see what we got here. It's various places, obviously. A lot of it's actually in the UN. It's usually in places of power to keep our reality running to keep our reality where it is today in all its glory. So yeah, to keep the money going, keeping the education, if you want to call it education, in the medical system, etc. Is to keep basically our our reality going, basically. So we're seeing some of that. Yeah, to take down an infrastructure like that isn't something you do overnight. We're feeling the effects of it. Yeah, some major changes have to come in, obviously. So I would say during, was it Enlil, the Anunnaki, Enlil, when he was doing his whole genocide thing, however you want to look at it, obviously a lot of Jewish people were infected by it, or were affected by it somehow during I don't know the whole history of it. But they're looking for the like a genetic masterpiece. They're looking for somebody they can control. That's what I'm getting from that. And they got it. They didn't care what they had to do to get to it. So I'm also going into Arcturian and Atlantean energies here. I've been listening to a documentary or a talk on Atlantis a little bit more about the weapons they had. That's not why I turned it on, but that's where it came up. I didn't know I was going to go into that. Basically, how people are vaporized. Even the pyramid technologies, which I'm not surprised by. I mean, pyramids are built for positive energies in the beginning. Yeah, like an internet through sound. I can see that, and I believe the Atlanteans used. I'm jumping around as you can see. The Atlanteans used Hathor technologies, abilities, or there's a lot of beings there, but I believe they used the Hathor sound technologies for a positive purpose, and then things got kind of strange, and then it started. Then they got corrupted over time, and then it destroyed, everything. Yeah, using I believe I can see them using pyramid technologies to wipe out Atlantis, basically. So, of course, a lot of pyramids are destroyed, or a lot of places are vaporized, things like that. So, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Obviously, there's more to the story on many levels, but so, which was all meant to be in the long run. It's not nice. So after all that, yeah, Anunnaki was, I think even during that time period, the Anunnaki were rebuilding humanity to their liking because they could. And that's where they needed somebody to run the show. Eventually became more of, not entirely, but a lot of it became more of the Jewish religion, basically. They had to park themselves somewhere. at least for the manipulations that's going on today. It's not all manipulations, but it's a lot of it, of course. Well, it's to keep us in the third dimension. It's to keep us in the mission that we're here to learn. So I guess they are called the chosen people. It's one way of looking at it. To keep us in this reality. So yeah, it's going to take quite a long time for this all to break down. Obviously. So let's see. They have the election going on. I mean, it's just a fucking sideshow. Yeah, it's freaking hilarious. All right, we'll just go into some connections and see where we get. Go from there. I'll give you a little bit of an update. See if I can. I'm still trying to play with this thing. Not got much luck with it, I don't think. But go to cybertalk.com. We have private sessions. We're at a channel. We're Google Hangout, Zoom, and channeling by phone. I have. I think I'm on the 11th of this month. Same situation here. There are channels and heroes that do recommend. Social network, Rabbit. Early access that will be eventually made public. And you want to join the webinar, or we have a webinar tomorrow night if you're interested. So, all right, for your support. Okay. All right. See what where we get from let's see what happens here. So, all right, blessings. Here we go. Greetings. This is Anki. Greetings to your society. As yes, you're going into a new age of awareness. And yes, it's going to be a bumpy road of many are going to have difficulty believing much of alien downloads. So you are actually getting the correct downloads. It's just a little bit hard to accept, as many of you are already going through that energy of realize many of you here would find much of what happened in the Earth's past as necessary, even what's happening now as necessary. It's like sometimes, as you know, learning, it's like somebody has to learn these lessons if your universe won't learn it. Somebody has to be the grown-up. That's why you're here. Now, some take a while to grow up. That's why they have so many incarnations here. Everyone has their own ways of going about it. Some do go through health defects, health illnesses to mature their soul. Everyone has their own method of knowing about yourselves. Sometimes when you get a higher knowledge, a DNA that's of a potent, even part of your elite, it comes with a price. And you know that before you incarnate. You have to go through its health elements because your body can't really handle some of the information that you're receiving. The vibration is quite different. And a lot of your elites are usually, a lot of them have health issues. And some of them don't live very long, at least in the human form. Your alien form, as they don't like being spoke about too much. I feel like you're the guardians of your galaxy, you can say, or your guardians of your Earth. Your elite, your Illuminati call themselves by different names. They change their names. They don't want to be for anyone to connect to them. Well, they don't want you to derail. See, yes, in the physical realm, they don't want you to mess with their money. In the higher realms, in the fourth dimension, they don't want you to mess with their timelines. And knowing more about them is the worst thing you can ever do to them. Your Israel energies of Yes, there's a lot. It's not all of the people of that region. Some were chosen. Yes, but you're all chosen. I mean, you all choose and you're chosen in different forms. So you're all the chosen ones. But some are chosen for an elitist direction. There's different levels of it, as you can see. Some that you can see, and others that you can't. That's like it's like the ocean. It's like you have different levels of the ocean. Reality is the same way. You have a top, you have a middle, you have a bottom. You have just it keeps the current going. So you have different levels of society to keep your reality going. As it breaks down, say the top starts to break down, it starts to much of what's been hidden, you can call it the bottom is more of what's hidden comes out. And many of you are here to find what is hidden. And it can be rough shores. It can be, yes, as you activate more of your DNA, as it is possible, most of your humans are going to ignore this because they're not ready to accept their responsibility of themselves. I believe you've heard this before. Well, why do that when you're enjoying your reality? It's like you're at a beach and many of you just yeah, but there's another side of this beach you might not like. Nobody wants to see that. Most don't. But many of you want to know where the beach come from, where all, what's the origins of the planet? Many aren't thinking about that or have a reason to even bother with it. What for? So it's not a question that's mentioned very often. Yes, let alone your aliens. Some are asking it, but some go by about your planet. They ask about it from a scientific point of view. Your scientists are looking at things differently. They can't explain. Yes, they can't explain shit, basically. And that's kind of the point of your origins of your planet. Nothing can be fully explained here. It is not necessary. That's part of just your reality. Your matrix isn't supposed to be completely understood because it is put together in a certain way where it's supposed to be mysterious. But on an alien level, even there, it doesn't quite make a full amount of sense. Nothing ever is here to make sense. Well, they're clues to your evolution. That you can't have an answer to everything in your reality. So it helps you open up to the spirit realms, something different, if you wish to do so. Once again, most are not asking these questions. Once again, what for? It is delivering the pizza and the reality that is necessary for you to function. But why would you want to question why would you want to go deep into who you are? It's not a scary place. It is, well, it can be, but it's unusual. Yes, maybe we're saying too much here. But we're going to continue on anyway. Well, yes, there is a way. It's persistence to know of who's running your planet. I mean, to fully connect to on a spiritual level. Once again, some of you are already doing so. It's kind of like crossing the red line and knowing what they know what you're doing, and eventually you'll know what they're doing. And then, of course, they're not going to care much for that, as they are weakening. The veil between you and the elitists, their alien groups, they can't hide themselves forever, as like the Wizard of Oz. As eventually you'll pull back the curtain. As many of you are doing so already, but more of that's going to continue on. And that's when your aliens just begin to become revealed. Yes, they're going to put up a fight, of course. They don't want to be seen. But they realize they can't hide forever. And it is hiding. It is hiding. It is not just invisibleness. It's hiding. They are hiding. That's the best term for it. You can add a little, galactic terminologies to say why they're not making themselves known, but hiding is the best term for it. Yes, because they can make themselves known, they just choose not to for your growth. But they do know if they do make themselves known here, it is a part of another part of their evolution. It's much necessary. Yes, there's a dark side, but there's a positive side to it also. It's up to you. You know, many of you are maturing yourself enough to bring in more of a positive vibration. You're mentally preparing yourself to connect to your star people and to, yes, look beyond all their BS of fear and all. Many of you are past that. You're just looking for not for contact. So many are reluctant. Your elite, your Illuminati beings, your alien elites, are, yes, hiding usually around your sun, sometimes behind it. They do cloak their ships, but they move constantly. Not that they're afraid of anybody for that, because no one can really detect them, but they don't like to be seen or found unless they want to be seen or found. Unexpectedness. Usually they live pretty calm lives for the most part, but I can say they are getting paranoid recently. Well, as their show is breaking down. It's been breaking down for some time, but now you'll be able to see more of where they're coming from. Your Illuminati and their weakness. To be human. Even alien beings are terrified of being human. And Anunnaki beings had to go through it. Yes, it did cause genocide because they linked to your DNA, and some of them went crazy, as you're going crazy just by being human. Think about an alien going through it. It can be 10 times worse. And yes, they're going to, those Anunnaki beings that are going through it, they get the DNA download from you, or they add their DNA to themselves, basically. And they lose their minds and they take it out on the humans. Yeah, the gods are angry now. Very, very angry. So that's when some of that genocide energies come from. And some of it was a power trip. Some of it was selfish. Most of it was a majority. All of it was selfish. It shows the immaturity of some of the Anunnaki beings. As they play up a strong side in themselves, how powerful they are. When they connect to a human, their weaknesses are everywhere. Anunnaki beings aren't known for war. They're known for, the low life of war, basically, just to get someone else to do it for them. They're not ones to get their hands dirty. Let's put it that way. It's low. It's very low. As you have your commanders, your chiefs in charge, while everybody else dies. That's an Anunnaki. That's not just Anunnaki. Other beings do the same thing. So I'm a leader, but I'm not fighting. That's very Anunnaki. So your kings and all that, that's Anunnaki too, but a lot of it's reptilian too, also. It's more reptilian on your planet, as they feel like they can rule your world as they feel fit. So where things are going, it's not going to break down instantly of your infrastructure of reality. It is, you're starting to see holes in it. Your intuition will tell you more. The more that you, do shadow work on yourselves, understand your own darkness, you're healing a great deal to know of your inner power. You're mature enough to see it. Most of society will see it eventually. As you are, all of you that are awakening to us are teachers of the modern world. A galactic presence, or there's a better word for it, but in your own way, of course. So a lot of you do it astrally. You don't have to do it physically. And there's no rush because most of the world is not keen to all of this. As basically the lines of your reality are breaking down. The control systems cannot handle this anymore, can it? Yes, the bridges are coming down, aren't they? It's not going. Yes, it cannot happen fast. But your medical field is getting You're going to go into your medical fields. Yes, it's going to have a dark side, of course, for a while, but eventually it will see the light. It's going to test society, of course. That's your elite, and their weaknesses going to go after your humans that they weakened. Also, the herd mentality. They're going to go after the herd mentality, and that shows the elite have a herd mentality themselves too. If they have to make your humans weak mentally, that shows how weak your power structure is. They're extremely weak, meaning that many of you embrace your own power. You can mind control them. Not that you want to, but you can overpower them. You can see how they do it, and they don't like that. You see where they come from. And this is why some of you are getting psychic attacks. You're seeing how the elitists, your alien beings, run your show. Yes, you don't go after their power structure. We're not here for your own power. You're just basically to put an end to the secrecy of human and alien. And humans are going to have a difficulty digesting who is here, of course. Some of you already know it. A lot of your alien. Why some of you aren't getting an alien presence as you think you're prepared for? There's different reasons. One of them that some of the aliens are just terrified to give you any idea anyone's there. You know that they're there. Some are just I'm not going to make it known at all. And others just are at peace with it. Everyone has a different connection. But some of you are connecting. Some of their alien beings, they don't want to give you any more than they already have because you tap into their energies. They don't like that. But the idea is to end the secrecy here. That's what many of you are here for. To break down the veil to all alien energies that connect to humans. Humans, yes, for the most part, think this is all a joke until it begins. And it will in your lifetime. Somehow, it will break through. You will have a breakthrough, as you had breakthroughs on many things. Now, you do not know this is going to occur. That's happening globally. There's other stages. So, not everything can be predicted. Realize that. It's done on purpose. Some of you are allowed to see the future. Most are not. Some of you can. It has different reasons. I'll just leave. It's part of soul growth. That's why the future is not quite seen, as sometimes the past has been seen. But yeah, the future can be tricky, as you think you know where it's going to go, and then it all of a sudden shifts. But some of you are at a level where you can see it, but you don't broadcast it to the world. That's another, if you're not going to broadcast it to the world, you're allowed to give a glimpse. If you're going to tell the world what you see, a lot of it's going to be better off not doing. It's one idea. So blessings to you. There are others here. Blessings. Greetings. We're the Arcturians. Greetings to you. This is I am. But yes, really the Arcturian energy, yes, is very much part of your Earth's DNA. Well, basically, of how we can learn through different alien experiences. An Arcturian being is to set the stage for realities to exist. Every being has that level. On this world, we played a lot of roles with bringing Atlantean energies to your Earth. As it was a void, the Atlanteans had a great amount of knowledge and didn't always know what to do with it. This world and their energies combined quite well. And of course, yes, we did see the future outcomes of what was to occur. And that is what made it more necessary. You can also heal much of the Earth's and universe's problems. The universe has actually a black hole in the middle of it. Of course, finding the middle is not easy. Of lessons, of learning, of being not wanting to know anything. It's it has a problem of figuring itself out sometimes, as you have here. As a problem warning lessons. It's not just here, it's other places. Yes, you can have the vacation world. Some of you have a lot of those, which is understood, but it does make it much harder to come to a planet like this. Not to say many of you rush to a world like this, but warning lessons are very difficult in this universe. So having a world like this, hard lessons, hellish lessons, it does find its way into the soul eventually. Now, why is this? This universe has a way of bringing amnesia to not just your world, but every world of forgetfulness. It's like you just learned your lesson and then it got removed. You're not always strong enough to remember what you learned. It's part of, yes, it's one of the harder universes in your land of universes that you're not fully seeing just yet. So it is like you answer a question on your, you have a test in school, you answer it, and you go back and the answer has been rewritten and you have to answer it again. And you don't remember. Then you failed it. It's similar to that. It's a different scenario. It's like, do you understand all the scenarios of that lesson to be learned? Answer is usually no. Like certain individuals that you incarnate with, you know how to learn lessons through them, but what if the genders are switched? Or what if that person's an uncle? What person's a grandmother? What if everything's a little bit quite differently? What if that person's a lover, which never been a lover before, and the lessons aren't quite learned exactly anymore. It does strengthen the soul. So doing these things over and over again is, as many find, is not necessary, but actually the soul does remember. It's just in this reality, it's hard to remember, especially in this world. Well, when you learn a lesson, it can be instantly erased. And some of you remember, some of you know. That's why some of you get married so many times. That's one of the reasons. And they don't always be able to see their own narcissism too. Narcissism has always been a tricky one also. As your leaders of your planet, want as many narcissists on this planet as possible, so they can continue the chaos here. Drama keeps you out of the fourth dimension, you can say. Different types of drama. But there are dramas that can heal society and dramas that can descend a society. But your Atlantean vibrations, the reason why their weapons, the reason why they made the mistakes that they did was, yes, to wipe themselves out. They didn't do it intentionally, but that was part of the contract for you to be where you are today, for other alien energies to get a crack at your planet and to go deeper into themselves. As many species are doing that right now. So as you learn the hard lessons, they learn it too. But then they forget also. They don't want to say that. Of course not. That's childish of them. But many of them don't want to, because the lessons you learn here are very, harsh at times. They don't, in a positive reality, they don't want to remember those harsh reality. Some do. Some are okay with it. A lot are not. Because some in their higher dimensions are similar to your Kardashians and things that want to show flash. How, they want to, like your Instagram, they just want to put flash everywhere. In higher dimensions, they do that. Once again, this is not just this world. So many of you are, you can say, come to reality of what your world truly is. That's when your lessons start to really sit in. It's because you're at home, you've finally come down to earth, or there's a better word for it, but you're just, the ego is finally landed. And you've calmed that horse of an ego. Not to say it's a horse, but it can get wild. It can become wild. When that ego heals itself of its adolescence, that's when the lessons really, all the lessons are sit in. It's like, yes, you have to be a wild child to calm down. Once you calm down, which takes some time, because maybe you come from the higher dimensions, you just want to fly everywhere and do it. You don't have to go into detail on that. So your Atlanteans also became a little bit, yes, they thought they can do anything. Just like some of your magicians, they think they can do anything, and then they find their limitations. The Atlanteans found their limitations. So they could have avoided that, their own destruction, but no. So here you're learning from those lessons of that, of what it's in the back, it's in your DNA of what happened to this world. It might not be fully here in your physical, but it's somewhere of why you're here, and that's why it's depressing to be here too, because all the death that went on here, all it's almost like you can say it's almost like it's disgusting to be a human on this world in some regard, because it's been so just the horrors of it. But that's why you're here, to bring light to it, to survive any type of energy attack. It's very difficult. We understand any relationship difficulties. You're here to get through all that, to stay afloat, to bring more positive timelines to yourself, to survive all of this. Yes, it's like a force. It's like, yeah, it's a psychic war. They're throwing everything they can at you. Survive all of that, then you get your prize eventually. What that is up to you. It does not always. It's like things that you want. Either it's health. You'd be surprised at health that can change. It can happen on. It can be financial, but it can also be health. It can be on different levels. Then all of a sudden, you just cured yourself just like that, because you made it through all your lessons here. So then you can have your peacetime finally. So, and some want to go back to the wartime because they weren't all the stuff they learned through all that. So yes, many incarnations, and one incarnation can be, yes, 1,000 incarnations or more on other planets, depending on the planet. Now, what started a lot of that was Mars. There's Anunnaki wars, but actually Mars and Venus, but Mars is one of the stronger ones that kind of Meldeck is part of it, but mostly Mars. It had some Anunnaki energies there, but had like a lot of unknown species that don't want to make themselves known at this moment. Their DNA was baked into society and just became chaotic. And then, of course, they brought it here for a more feminine energy to heal the masculine. But you're in your genetics today, your alien connections, as you connect more to your Illuminati, your elites that are running your show. A lot of it's based in Israel, some of it, not all of it. A lot of it is throughout your Middle East. Israel does play a role in the agenda of your world, partly. Once again, yes, it had to do with your ascension to get you where you are today. Many of you want to be a more powerful being, but you have to go through hell to get there. You want to be able to enhance your capabilities. You might not feel like you're doing it, but you actually are, which each day you get through. You might not feel your powers are, but you feel something's going on. It's like it's worth it getting through the day. As difficult. It might feel like a mundane life here, far from it. Because all your powers have been stripped from you. For the higher dimensional powers, you still have powers here. It just doesn't seem that way, but you do. Powers of survival. We are enhancing the abilities that you wish to enhance, whatever it might be, or all of them, from everything. Some do specific ones. That's why I have specific talents here, or specific missions here, is to upgrade certain powers. Blessings.